Way better than camper!
All right, week 1 down, and now we're moving on to the walls. And this might take us a while. James is in the garage getting the plywood set up so we can make our curve and start cutting it out. But I wanted to show you another project we've done inside. This is the most recent thing we made. It's just this nice kind of simple floating desk for our older son. Now we're off to build the walls, which should be quite the adventure. All right, so James said he feels like he's a news anchor doing this, but I feel like we're on like a newlywed game show and have to like reveal our secret answers. So, ready? Go. What did you write? I wrote.
That's the same as yours.
You copied mine.
I did.
So, walls. We're moving on to walls. Really, this video we're going to be doing this middle insulation wall, but kind of talking our overall thoughts before we get into it. This is not to scale, just kind of messing around. But this is kind of how we over-engineered things at first. We were going to do like 4 layers of wall. We were going to do an outside pallet board wall, an outside wall, inside insulation wall, and then an internal wall. Got us close to about 2 inches in thickness. It was way too much. Most people seem to do 3, kind of do a sandwich. And so we cut out a layer, which just gets us to about 1.5 inches thickness, which seems to work well with doors and windows and an easier option to find for those things. This middle insulation wall, we have kids. I read too many flip books. I got a flip book option for you here.
It's not big enough paper.
I know. I wanted to fit them all on one sheet. And the cutouts we're making for the insulation are slightly different on each wall. And James will go into that more.
I have a bigger drawing that is to scale, because that's what I need. And so, for our trailer, it's a 5x10, and the actual cabin is going to be 5 feet tall. So we can't do this all on one sheet of plywood. So you can see here kind of the darker lines. You can see the 3 different sections of plywood that are going to come together to make our whole wall. To do that, lay the plywood down on our garage floor because it's big and flat mostly. And then mark out some 3-inch and 6-inch sections at the front and on the rear
by the curves.
For those curves.
Because you'll need more points.
So we have more points to measure off of. And then for the center section where it's kind of a flatter curve at the top, just every like 1 foot sections there. And then as you can see, our plywood sections don't line up perfectly. And that was on purpose. We wanted all of our seams to be offset. Along the top, you can see we also put in notches, and these notches are going to be where our 2x2 inch spars are going to run across. So the spars will actually rest on top of the insulation wall in those notches, and then they'll be covered by the roof, obviously, and the outer pallet wall.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the front curve and the back curve are slightly different.
Yes.
Cutouts.
For reasons.
Yes. And there we'll have to end up making probably spacers to go in between the spars across those, right?
Yeah, we did that because of how we want to install the ceiling around the front nose. And then on the back because we want to do a Frederick's hatch. So that's why those cutouts are there.
So that is what we're going to attempt to do. We'll see how it turns out.
I bet it's beautiful.
Let's go.
So, working on drawing our profile before I actually cut out the walls. We made our grid, and so I used one of my drawings and basically found where my curve needs to intersect on either 6-inch or 3-inch or 12-inch sections. made some marks where it intersects my blue lines, and then put in 1 or 2 nails, depending on where I was at in the curve, what I needed. And I used a piece of 1/4 inch scrap plywood I had, and then basically just used plywood, kind of bend it around the nail, hit the points I didn't make sure I hit. You can do it with a friend or with your feet, and then just trace the line. The board just helps make sure you get a nice curve through your points. Yeah. Otherwise, it's a real pain to try and do a freehand. So now we got the nose of the cabin here, and then all the way back to the hatch on the other side. And now I can cut some boards.
Okay, so we've never had to really worry about filming in the morning before. We have lovely window glare, but James and I both have the day off. Kids are in daycare, and so we're going to try to get as much of these insulation walls done. So what are we doing?
We got to take our sections of plywood and stick them together and make one solid wall. And then we got to cut holes out of it.
Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, we're going to join them with construction adhesive.
Liquid nails.
Liquid
yeah.
nails.
Which
I know we
construction
own,
adhesive.
but oh, it's a type of.
Yeah.
Oh, I learn something every day.
Yeah.
And we're going to join them with biscuits. Now we got a biscuit joiner from your buddy.
Yep.
Who does woodworking. What's the name of his?
JP Woodworking on Instagram. Check him out. He makes cool stuff too.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. We'll put his link down below. All right, let's get started. Did there is mainly on the seams every 8 inches. We marked where we wanted to put biscuits. You'll see down this line every 8 inches or so. And then there's a few places where we're going to do pocket holes to kind of help hold the boards together. Because we really should find a way to clamp them. So there's another pocket, another pocket. We don't really have clamps that are going to hold these boards together while they dry. So we're just doing some pocket screws. Pocket screw. How many did you put in? A smattering. There's really not.
2 here, a couple here just to clean up that corner, 1 at that end, and 1 in the middle here in case I need extra clamp force in the middle.
Yeah, so they're going to kind of work as our clamps.
The biscuits will keep everything in line because that's how the biscuit joiner is designed. It drills them all at the same level. It's really nice for alignment purposes, but they're not a press fit, so they don't hold themselves together right away while they're drying. You got to find a way to clamp it down.
Best way to do it? Who knows? But it's what we got, that's what we're going to do. Okay, so we got it all biscuited. Technical term, I'm sure. Glued, screwed. Should we wait a little bit more for the glue to cure and dry? Yes, probably. But again, we have this day off. We have no kids here. We're moving forward. So we took a little bit of a break to do some other things, prep some other things, and had lunch. So it has had some time since this morning. We did the glue part first and did the other stuff. So what are we up to now?
Well, now we got to figure out where we have to cut holes. So we got to measure things out.
Because we're going to put insulation in this, and then also to cut weight. Obviously, we're going to remove some of it. And we're cheating. Not really cheating. We've technically already done the other wall. We wanted to do the other wall as a practice round and then show you this one. Otherwise, the video would be way too long with us hemming and hawing and trying to figure out what we were doing and then doing something and doing it wrong and then trying to redo it. So we learned on the first wall, and we'll see what we've learned and then can actually do better and quicker on this wall. That's the nice about having two walls. The floor, you just had to watch us suffer through the first one. But so yeah, also part of it, our walls have slightly different things in them. So there's a few things we'll have to measure and draw it on here on the first wall. We had to, measure out everything. We drew it first on graph paper, which I showed you earlier. So using that graph paper to figure out where to do things. So that way to measure everything. This, we're going to measure out this baggage access door and a window because we don't have those on the other wall. And then otherwise we're going to use the other wall as a template and kind of just trace and cut out the other pieces of material that we're going to remove. Did I forget anything?
Nope, spot on.
All right, you'll see it as we go. Okay, so what we got here is some of the holes we're going to cut out. There's actually a few more that we'll do. But the things on this wall that we for sure have to be careful with. So we got the door. We're going to do a little baggage access door that'll have a cubby that'll access inside. You'll see it when we build the storage kind of headboard unit inside as well. But this side gets a baggage access door and a window up here as well. So James is going to start working on measuring and outlining the baggage access door, and I'm going to start trying to place the window.
Oh, good. They're the same shape. It's a good start.
All right, so like I said, I don't know where the... All right, so like I said, we had this one that we suffered through and measured things out off of our drawing, and James has already cut it. So yeah, the rest of it, we will just trace. Now that we have the window and the baggage door marked. A few other things that'll be different. Driver's side, we're going to have a plug for shore power. So there's a section here for that. So that'll be slightly different. Both sides, we're going to do little side vents down here. So place marked for side vents on both sides. And then we have the window here, but we'll probably maybe make like another chunk to take out here that we'll have to decide on the fly. And then the back we cut out because we're going to do like a modified Frederick style hatch. So we need that section. And what kind of was handy for all that too was James's carpenter square. Where is your carpenter square? Okay, by movie magic, I have the carpenter square now. So we used this a lot on the first one. A lot of times we had to go like 4.5 from the bottom. So we could just put this up against the bottom plywood and do like the 4.5 mark and then pull and draw there. And around the curve as well, we knew how much we wanted it to be inside the curve, and we could just put our pencil in the notch and then kind of hold this point along the curve of the plywood. Something like this. So held that here, put this where we needed it to be, and it helped us draw that line. Maybe there's other ways to do it, but this worked great for us. And then we use this a lot to make sure the door was really square to the frame, obviously. You want to be picky about that. Mm-hmm. So, all right, we'll just get to tracing now. That was so much faster. Sorry you didn't get to see us suffer through measuring and plotting it out, but promise you it would have been pretty boring and frustrating.
Maybe they like tracing.
Yep. All right. Take it off?
Yeah.
All right. So what now?
Beautiful.
Can you say, we're building a teardrop?
We truly made a poopy.
That's not it. Can you say, we're building a teardrop?
I can't say that.
No, okay.
We're building a camper.